Well, it is so wonderful to be out here in the demo garden again, Elisa, and today I'm just thinking about how much I appreciate pollinating insects. There's a lot of concern about making sure we see enough of them.
Yes, there is.
And you have this wonderful insect hotel where I'm assuming they check in and they check out.
Well, we're hoping they check in and stay for a long time. We built this, and we are hoping to attract all kinds of pollinating bees, wasps, beetles, ladybugs, you name it, even daddy longlegs, as creepy as they are. Maybe even some lizards, some little toads, everything, because it is crucial to our existence as humans to have these pollinators to help us grow the food that we need. I mean, everybody thinks that when you talk about save the bees, that you mean honeybees. You have to remember, honeybees are not native to this continent. So what we need to work on preserving is the habitat for the native bees, which now there are at least 7 that have been listed on the endangered species lists.
Wow. Well, I am all in favor of keeping my pollinators happy and overwintering and on my property. So this looks like it looks like everything has a purpose. So let's start talking about who might live where.
Well, if you look up here in the top, we have tubes and we have pieces of wood. Now, the tubes create tunnels. We have approximately 1,200 species of native bees that will live in tunnels. Mason bees, leafcutter bees, and they need a tunnel that they can burrow into and lay their eggs. The eggs will overwinter and pupate, and then they'll hatch, and we'll have a new generation. In some of these other spots, like these buckets, these little pots here, they're stuffed full of leaves, and that gives beetles places to hide and to live. And, you know, up in the top of the roof, we could possibly end up with some wasps. Well, not everybody likes wasps, but to be honest with you, those big angry red wasps that you see flying around your garden, they're really beneficial. They love caterpillars. So you really do want them in your garden. So before you reach for that can of spray, think about the purpose that they serve as far as controlling the insects that damage the crops that we eat. But it's important that you provide different habitats for all of these insects. The more you provide, the more you're going to have in your garden. But then, of course, this is kind of big. Not everybody is going to have a place to put something like that.
Well, I'm wondering about that. So could I just make sort of a pile of these type of materials next to my compost pile?
You could, because you of all people know how a few years ago Metro Nashville decided that they didn't want people throwing their yard brush in their trash. They began encouraging us as homeowners to compost things in our own yard. Well, you can do that. You can create a pile of sticks. You can put a pile of grass clippings, a pile of leaves. You can leave them in a remote corner of your yard that you're not using. And not only are you creating compost in the long term for yourself, you're creating a habitat that insects can live in and breed in and protect your garden.
Aha, so I knew my laziness of leaving things in the corner of the garden were going to pay off one day. Now it's just my insect hotel.
It is. It's your insect hotel, and it's your beneficial gardening practices.
Aha, fantastic. Now, I see these for sale, and what this reminds me of is what happens to the post where I have my bird feeders.
Yes,
So,
carpenter bees do that.
Aha.
Yes, they do. Now, this one is actually one that is mine, and I've been very lazy about getting it hung up in my yard, and I threw it on a cabinet by the back door. Well, it didn't stop the bees from nesting in there, and I was looking at it, and you can see the debris. They've been tunneling in these little bamboo tubes, and there's actually eggs in here, so I'm going to have to return this to my garden. But these, you can take a small piece of lumber and drill different size holes in it, and you can set them aside in your yard, or you can do as we've done here, include them in a habitat like this, and you'll be giving those bees a place to live. Now, there are 2,800 species of bees that nest in the ground. So as you can see, it's really important to create a habitat. So set a corner of your yard aside. Keep it close to where you're gardening, because these bees aren't going to fly 3 miles. Now, a honeybee will fly 2 or 3 miles, But these bees, maybe a couple hundred feet to a couple hundred yards at the most from where they're nesting to where they're feeding. So you want to kind of give them a place to live and then give them something to eat and keep it fairly close to where you're gardening, and you will be helping to control some of the insects that you don't want, and you'll be helping to ensure pollination of your plants.
Wow, well, you have given me a whole new appreciation, Lisa, of these types of structures, which I see and didn't realize how useful they are. So thank you so much for that. And I think I need to head home and maybe organize my materials a little bit better and welcome everyone into the hotel for the fall.
Well, that sounds great.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.